Good morning all. In today's lecture, we are going to see how to prepare a balance sheet from the given ratios. Now, as we have discussed in the earlier lectures, whenever you have sum like this, you need to mainly concentrate on the amount which is given in the sum. Now, if you read all the details here, you can easily identify that in terms of amounts only you have one amount available, that is of gross profit. Focus on as to what all details that you can find out with this gross profit. So we can make use of a gross profit ratio and we can find out sales with this ratio. So let us start with gross profit ratio. So I'm just writing the formula. Now in this ratio, if you'll put the amounts, gross profit ratio is given, that is 20%. So 20% equals to, now gross profit we know that is 1 lakh. So I'm just writing the amount here, 1 lakh divided by sales, we do not know. Sales equals to 1 lakh divided by 20%. So that will come to 5 lakh. Now, since we have sales and gross profit as well, so you can easily find out cost of goods sold. So which can be used in these two formulas to find out other elements. So next we are going to find out cost of goods sold. Cost of goods sold equals to sales minus gross profit. Now in this formula, I'm just putting the amounts. Cost of goods sold equals to, so your cost of goods sold comes to rupees 4 lakh. Now, since you can easily see here this cost of goods sold, we can put in these two formulas, cost of goods sold upon fixed assets and cost of goods sold upon net worth. That's how you can easily find out fixed assets and net worth. Now let's try and complete that first. Now in this formula, I'm putting the information. Cost of goods sold is 4 lakh divided by fixed assets, we do not know, equals to 4 times. Now we'll solve this equation. So what we are going to do, fixed assets I'm going to transfer to this side and this 4 I'm going to transfer to this side. So 4 lakh divided by 4, that is the amount of fixed assets. Now easily you can understand fixed assets will come to 1 lakh. Now next we'll make use of the second formula, that is cost of goods sold upon net worth equal to 2 times. So I'm just writing it here. Now again I'm putting the information of cost of goods sold. So cost of goods sold has come 4 lakh divided by net worth we do not know. So I'm writing as it is, net worth equals to 2 times. Now 4 lakh divided by 2. So you can easily understand that net worth will come to 2 lakh. Now you have net worth available with you, fixed assets available with you, cost of goods sold, sales and gross profit. So let's check out what else we can solve. Now stock velocity, we can make use of this formula now. Stock velocity equals to, that is nothing but the turnover ratio we are talking about. Now stock we calculate on cost of goods sold. So cost of goods sold divided by average inventory. Now since this velocity is given in times, we are going to consider this stock velocity as the turnover, stock turnover ratio. Now stock velocity, or what we can say stock turnover ratio, equals to cost of goods sold upon average inventory. Phi equals to 4 lakh divided by average inventory. Now if you read the sum, what details are given? Closing stock is more than opening stock by 5,000. It means in the sum, we have to find out both the type of stocks, so opening stock as well as closing stock. We have average inventory here. So let's find out first average inventory. So average inventory comes to, so 4 lakh divided by 5, 80,000. How we find out average inventory? I'm just writing it here itself. So opening stock plus closing stock divided by 2. Now this amount is available, but we don't know this one also, this one also. But what we know is that your closing stock is more than opening stock by 5,000. Now for this, if we'll prepare an equation, 80,000 equals to opening stock we are considering as X plus closing stock now will be more than opening stock by 5,000. So I'm going to add more 5,000 in the closing stock. Now you can see the equation is like this: opening stock plus closing stock, which is more by 5,000, okay, divided by 2. 80,000 equals to, now this x and this x will be 2x plus 5,000. Now since this is divided by, we'll transfer it to this side, that will become multiplied by, so that will come here, 2 into 80,000. So now this is how you will get, now this is divided by, this will go to this side, so 80,000 into 2 equals to this and this, 2x plus 5,000. Now we'll try and solve this equation. 80,000 into 2 will be 1,60,000 equals to 2x plus 5,000. Now further if you go, 1,60,000 less 5,000 equals to 1,55,000 equals to 2x. Now if you will try and find out the value of x, x equals to 1,55,000 divided by 2. So that comes to 77,500. Now see what it was exactly. X was the opening stock. Okay, opening stock we have considered as x. So this is what your opening stock is. Now next line, your closing stock is more by 5,000. Opening stock, that is x plus 5,000, 77,500 plus 5,000 more, 82,500. Now what all amounts that you have got, if you see, you already had gross profit, you found out sales, then you have found out cost of goods sold, we have found out fixed assets, then we have found out net worth, then we have found out opening stock, then we have found out closing stock. Now check what else we can find out. Go to the details. Now debtors velocity, now it is again given in months. So since it is given in months, debtors velocity may be the debtors collection time, since it is given in months and not in times. Here I'm putting debtors velocity equals to 2 months equals to, now debtors velocity which is given in months, that is the debtors collection time, that is what I'm specifying here, equals to 2 months. So since it is given in months, I'm taking 12 months divided by debtors turnover ratio. So debtors turnover ratio, how much it will be? So 12. Now this will come to this side, and 12 divided by 2, that will be 6 times. After every 2 months if they are paying, so in a year they'll be paying you 6 times. Now debtors turnover ratio, we have the formula, that is credit sales upon average debtors. Now in this case, we cannot calculate average debtors, and that's the reason what we are going to do. We are going to consider only closing debtors. So instead of average debtors, I'm just saying debtors. Okay. Now credit sales, exactly we don't know. Okay. We only know sales. So we have to write one note. Okay. We are going to assume that all sales are credit sales. Next line will put the information in this formula. 6 equals to credit sales, that is your sales amount 5 lakh divided by debtors. Debtors equals to 5 lakh divided by 6. So it will come to 83,333. Now creditors velocity, this is the ratio which is left now. We'll solve this one. 73 days. Now if you see, this is given in days, not in times. So this is nothing but your creditors payment time equals to 73 days. So since it is given in days, we are going to take 365 days in a year divided by creditors turnover ratio. So creditors turnover ratio will come to 365 divided by 73 days. So that comes to 5 times. Now if you see the alternate formula of creditors turnover ratio, how we calculate creditors turnover ratio? So we consider credit purchases upon average creditors. So we are going to just take the creditors. Now credit purchases we don't know, and we don't know even creditors. Now we cannot solve this ratio unless and until we have either creditors or credit purchases. Now what can be done? We are not having any other information if we check out the sum, right? So what we are going to do, now there is a hint that purchases can be calculated. Now what we are going to do to calculate the purchases, we are going to prepare an equation. Okay. Now what equation we'll prepare? If you remember the trading account format, debit side equals to the credit side we are going to write. So opening stock plus we have purchases to the debit side plus balancing amount करके we get the gross profit, and to the credit side if you see you have sales and closing stock. We have almost all the amounts available, only purchases is not there. So you can easily find it out from this equation. Opening stock is 77,500 plus purchases we do not know plus gross profit we know that is 1 lakh equals to sales is 5 lakh and closing stock we can check it here itself 82,500. Now solve this equation. So to this side 1,77,500 plus purchases equals to 5,82,500. Purchases equals to, now we are keeping it as it is. Now we are going to move this to this side. So 5,82,000 less 1,77,500. Find out the amount. Your purchases comes to 4,05,000. Now we have got the purchases amount. We are going to put this amount in the creditors turnover formula. I'm just writing it here. Okay. Now purchases are this much. Just I'm putting the information. Ratio is 5 times equals to credit purchases. This is the amount 4,05,000 divided by creditors, which we don't know, right? Now solve this equations. Creditors will go to this side. 4,05,000 divided by 5, that will be your creditors amount. 4,05,000 divided by 5, that comes to 81,000, and that is the amount of creditors. Now we can prepare the format of a balance sheet, okay, because if you check all these ratios we have solved, and the actual answer that we are supposed to give is prepare a balance sheet. Now this is the format which we have created. Heading balance sheet as on 31st March, liabilities side and assets side. Now we are going to mention the details. Okay, now just go to the calculations, what all details that we have found out. Now gross profit and the sales, okay, as well as cost of goods sold, all this belongs to profit and loss account, which we are not going to cover it here. Now next, you have got fixed assets and net worth. Now this we are going to record in the balance sheet. Fixed assets we record to the asset side, so we'll mention the amount, and net worth 2 lakh rupees, that will mention to the liabilities side, rupees 2 lakh, and fixed assets 1 lakh. Now go back, just check it out what else that we have found out. Now next, if you see opening stock we record to the again profit and loss account, we will not cover it here. Closing stock is 82,500, which we have to show under the current assets, and same way debtors also under the current assets. We'll just go to the format and we'll show it. So what we'll do, so we are going to show current assets separately, okay, here as main heading current assets, and under current assets we'll show the different current assets that we have. So first closing stock, and then debtors. Now just check out the amount of closing stock. It is 82,500 and debtors 83,333. So we'll put it here, closing stock. I'm writing it in a column, 82,500, and debtors 83,333. Next is purchases, again profit and loss account. Now creditors comes under current liability, so we are going to write it. Main heading is current liability, and the main component is creditors. I am directly writing in outer column 81,000. Now if you see, we have recorded almost all the things which we have solved. Now we have to check if all the things are getting balanced. To this side if you see 2,81,000, and this side if you see that is less than 2,81,000, so we'll find out the balancing amount. So first since this side is complete, we'll just make the total of this side, that is 2,81,000. Now since this side is complete, we are going to take the total of this side, 2,81,000. okay, now since both the sides are going to be equal, I am just writing the same amount here, since assets, total of the assets and liability side is going to be equal. Now, if you want to find out how much is the amount of current assets, from this total, if you will minus fixed assets, you will get the value of current assets. So from 2,81,000, if you will minus 1 lakh, so your current assets will come to 1,81,000. Now just check out how much this total is. So what you can do now, from this amount, when you will minus total of these two amounts, you will get the balancing amount. Okay, just try and find it out. If you find out total of closing stock and debtors, that amounts to 1,65,833. Okay, so which is lesser than this. So what we'll do, from this amount we'll minus this much total, then we'll get the balancing amount 1,81,000 minus total of this comes to 1,65,833. So balancing amounts comes to 15,167. Now normally what happens, whenever you're carrying out business, that cash and bank balance that will always be needed. So we are going to consider this as the balancing amount, which we'll consider as cash and bank balance. Now this is how your balance sheet is ready. Okay, hope you understood the sum.